2026 Nissan Leaf review. Forget about the first to Nissan Leaf electric hatchbacks, because there's a radically different one on the way, and it blows them away. Pros: step up in refinement, quality smooth driving, manner stylish designkins. Not massive inside, likely to be more expensive now rear window wiper. How do you grab attention? For a new small electric vehicle, in a sea of similar cars, hitting the market from Asian manufacturers? Easy. You slap it with a badge that links it to the world's first mass-produced EV, the Nissan Leaf hatch, at first glance. That's about all the new SUV-shaped Leaf shares with the first two generations of the nameplate. But despite the body style reinvention, the new Leaf was developed with efficiency to the fore, hence Nissan's obsession with aerodynamics and the new look. It's a design full of interesting detail and more than a hint of the Nissan Z Sports Coupe. When viewed from the back, the headline figure is a range of up to 600 kilometers on a single charge. But can Nissan keep the price sensible? We won't know that answer until closer to the Leaf's rival in Australia in 2026. But we did get a chance to drive a pre-production prototype version of the car to its limits at a Special World Car of the Year Jurors Day in France. How much does the Nissan Leaf cost? We'll have to take a bit of a guess at this one, as Nissan hasn't announced pricing for the Leaf in any market yet. Given the circa $60, zero drive-away starting price of the larger Nissan Ariya midsize electric SUV, we'd wager the new Leaf will start from around $45. Zero for the entry-level variant with the smaller battery if it's even offered down under. For the higher spec versions like the one tested here with the big battery and all the bells and whistles, we're expecting the sticker to be closer to $60,000. What is the Nissan Leaf like on the inside? Despite being 140 millimeters shorter than its predecessor, the new Leaf is more spacious inside thanks to clever packaging. Nissan has tucked the heating and ventilation system under the bonnet, freeing up cabin space, though this does mean there's no front storage compartment or frunk, which you can really appreciate. From the front seats, the cabin takes heavy inspiration from the larger Ariya, with an airy open plan feel up front and neat touches. Throughout, the materials used aren't perhaps quite as premium to the touch, but the new Leaf is far nicer inside than the old one. Our high-spec test car featured light and dark synthetic leather upholstery, and a panoramic glass roof that dims at the touch of a button featuring a dinky little Leaf logo within. Added to that are a pair of 14.3-inch screens, stuck together using a slick, Google-powered infotainment setup with more features than any owner will discover in a few years of ownership. Practical touches include generous door pins, a large center console featuring a useful wireless charging pad, ISO-FIX child seat mounts in the outer rear seats, and a boot that's 50 liters bigger than before at for 37L. There's also space under the boot floor for charging cables or whatever takes your fancy. And the back seats fold down if you need to carry larger items, while front seat passengers get loads of space. When you sit into the rear, you're abruptly reminded that this is not a big SUV. So, yes, 2 adults will fit back there, but 3 would be a squeeze. And anyone with big feet will notice there's not much space under the front seats. Still, the tape measure says there's more room back there than in the old Leaf. So, we can't complain too much. What's under the bonnet? The Nissan Leaf is based on an electric-only platform, CMFF, shared with the Ariya, with the motor mounted up front for front-wheel drive and, in Europe at least, a choice of power outputs and battery capacities. Tested here is the 75 kilowatt-hours model with the 160 kilowatts. Motor. The entry-level variant gets a 50 kilowatt-hours battery feeding a 130 kilowatts version of the same electric motor. Official WLTP figures rate the 75 kilowatt-hours Leaf's range at 600 for kilometers and the 50 kilowatt-hours version at 436 kilometers. Nissan's own 130 kilometers per are tested relatively low temperature. 10 degrees Celsius saw 330 kilometers and 224 kilometers, respectively, which are promising numbers for Australian highway use. Charging speeds are up on the old Leaf, and the outdated CHAdeMO system has been consigned to history. The small battery takes AC charging at up to 7.4 kilowatts and DC fast charging at up to 105 kilowatts, via which it's good for a 20 to 80% top-up in under 30 minutes. The 75 kilowatt-hours pack supports 11 kilowatts AC and 150 kilowatts DC charging, resulting in the same 30-minute 20 to 80% window. Vehicle-to-load V2L capability is standard, while vehicle-to-grid V2G is planned via a future software update. How does the Nissan Leaf drive? Refinement is a standout. Aerodynamic tweaks, including a flat underbody and the shape of the rear window, though we don't like that there's no wiper, help deliver a quiet cabin even close to the quoted 160 kilometers per hour top speed. On our limited test loop, a smooth if varied track, the Leaf felt stable, predictable, and composed through sweeping bends, and perfectly capable of dealing with a bit of exuberance in the tighter corners. The steering is accurate, if slow, and body control is well judged. Though the new Leaf stops short of being engaging or actively involving for keener drivers. Push to hard and the traction control quickly reins in wheel spin when accelerating out of tighter corners. Ride comfort over bumps will need a proper road test to assess. But the Leaf shrugged off crests and undulations without fuss, quickly, regaining its composure even when driven as quickly as the closed circuit allowed. The chassis tune is a mature one with great sophistication built in, helping give the Leaf a grown-up feel that belies its compact dimensions. The brakes are progressive, while the regenerative braking can be adjusted via the paddles behind the steering wheel, or set for one-pedal driving with the e-pedal button. There are Eco and Sport driving modes either side of the default normal setting, and they do what you'd expect. The former dulling response to accelerator input in the name of efficiency, while Sport mode brings sharper responses. The claimed 0 to 100 kilometers per hour time of 7.6 seconds seems entirely believable, and is swift enough for anyone without drawing expletives from your passenger whenever you put your foot down. Given the nature of this test drive, it wasn't possible to get an accurate feel for the new Leaf's efficiency or range. We'll test those capabilities when we drive it on public roads later this year. What do you get? While Australian specs are still to be confirmed, and we don't yet know if all for versions confirmed for Europe will be offered down under, here are some of the highlights. 2026 Nissan Leaf equipment highlights. Dual 14.3-inch displays, Inco. Google built-in. Wireless phone charging, panoramic dimmable glass roof, LED exterior lighting, multiple drive modes, adjustable regenerative braking with paddles, ISO-FIX child seat mounts, outer rear seats, 19-inch alloy wheels, Bose driver's headrest speaker, Apple CarPlay, and Android Auto. Is the Nissan Leaf safe? The new model hasn't yet been assessed by NCAP or Euro NCAP. The previous to Leaf generation scored 5 stars, and Nissan is clearly aiming for the same result here, with a full suite of active safety features expected as standard .10 Safety equipment includes Propellant Driver Assistance System, Adaptive Cruise Control, Lane Centering Assist, 3D Around View Monitor. How much does the Nissan Leaf cost to run? The Nissan Leaf is expected to be covered by the Japanese brand's standard 5-year vehicle warranty with unlimited mileage, with up to 10 years or 300,000 kilometers of coverage available if you service the car at an authorized Nissan dealer. A separate 8-year, 160,000 kilometers warranty is expected for the battery pack, as per the ARIA. Care experts' take on the Nissan Leaf pray that Nissan Australia can keep the Leaf's price down, as it's a massive step up from its predecessors in every respect. We like the new crossover style and the enhanced cabin practicality and technology, while the overriding impression from our first drive is the noteworthy refinement, smoothness, and maturity. If Nissan's efficiency claims are repeated in the real world, the new Leaf could be as much of a game changer as the original.